Shub Nugurath, Cthulhu Fatagan, everybody. I'm Jared Logan. Welcome, SOBs, to Stream of Blood and today's episode of the Neptune Society, an ongoing Call of Cthulhu tabletop live play stream. I'm so happy that you guys are here. I am really excited about today's game because we have three amazing players, and this is part one of a three-parter that ties into our huge Gen Con game this coming week. Guys, we are going to learn a little about the origins of the Neptune Society. We're going to fill in the continuity so that we can all remember the facts and bring them up later when I contradict them in the chat. We can go, actually, you established that that's not how the society was started. That's what we're doing today, partially. I mentioned Gen Con. I want to tell you more about that. Guys, Stream of Blood is part of Gen Con this year. We're doing 4 games. We are doing games with Gen Con attendees, people who just bought a ticket who wanted to play with us. And we're also doing games with our regular casts. Like with Vampire, we'll have Thomas Middleditch, Ashley Birch, Ross Bryant. So those games are going to be these 2-parters. And it's really cool because the Gen Con attendees will be in part 1. And they will do things in their game that will affect our all-star cast in part 2. The tickets are already sold out, unfortunately, to be in the games. But we would love for you to go to gencon.com and buy like a virtual ticket and let everybody know, what you're going to see. You can actually tell them that, you're going to see Vampire through that process, or that you're going to come see the Neptune Society through that process. And then that way they make sure your head is counted and they know that you are a viewer and that you tuned in. And that helps us do more fun things with Gen Con in the future. And it supports Gen Con, an incredible convention I've been to twice. I've been to physically twice. This year it's online in virtual space, which I also like because, my bed's right there. So usually in Gen Con I get really tired and drunk and a little sick from eating a lot of hot dogs, and now I can maybe have a salad and then lay down as soon as I'm done with my games. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Get a free badge for Gen Con Online at gencon.com. Go to Event Finder, type in Stream of Blood, and get the free ticket to make yourself counted. That's how that all works. Another thing, I always mention this, but I'm going to keep mentioning it. We do not have a Patreon on Stream of Blood. We do not ask for your money at present. We're just trying to grow our show. Let everybody know about it. Do that for us. We'd love it if you did that. But if you want to give some money or to support somebody in some way, I recommend you go to joincampaignzero.org and give them a little money. If you would have given us $5, give them $5 instead. Because while we're here playing games, there are a lot of people who are out there figuring out new ways to handle policing in this country or to change and reform policing in this country so that we can keep the horror in the Cthulhu horror game and not out there in the streets of our country. So please go there and give them a couple bucks, and it would mean a lot to us. And then let us know you did that. I would love to hear if you want to go to our Facebook group or hit us up on Twitter and let us know, hey, I gave a donation to Campaign Zero. That would be awesome. Okay. I think that's good in terms of announcements. Let's bring in our all-star cast. These are 3 of my favorite people I've played tabletop role-playing games with over the years. I believe I met all 3 of these guys in New York City back when I was doing a lot of stand-up there in New York City before I moved to Los Angeles. And we have played campaigns and role-playing games with each other outside of a streaming show. So I'm extremely comfortable with these guys. What does that mean? But I also think that they're just stellar at what they do. So let me bring this guy in first. You know him from Adam Ruins Everything. You know him from The Crystal Maze on Nickelodeon, a fantasy-themed game show. He's one of the smartest, funniest guys who also likes to occasionally pretend to be an elf, an orc, or a 19th century soldier. Please welcome Adam Conover, everybody.
Welcome to the Crystal Maze. That's what if we were shooting more Crystal Maze now, that's how I would open it. But it's postponed because of coronavirus. So this is what I do instead.
Well, Adam, maybe at some point in today's game, and it's unlikely because it's a game where you're playing a 19th century soldier, former soldier, but maybe you'll find an opportunity for your character to say "Welcome to the Crystal Maze."
I'll look for it.
I'll
really torture it. I'm gonna make it happen, and it's almost gonna make sense in context.
Can you tell us just a very briefly a little bit about the character you're playing today?
Sure. So I'm playing Robert, or Robbie Potter. He is a currently sort of a body man or a bodyguard to Lady Hypatia Montague. He grew up with her in her large estate as a servant, sort of. So they're the same age. They grew up together, but he was, stable boy, that sort of thing, while she was the lady of the house. But he was considered like family by them. So they sent him off to, they helped him attain a commission in the army, where he reached the rank of second lieutenant, but he has returned in shame, having lost his commission and his army pension. He was trying to improve his station in life, and he failed. And so he has returned to his lowly rank of servant to Lady Hypatia, which he is quite happy to perform because he's very grateful to her and her family.
What a great arc, and it feels like a thick novel, that would be on Masterpiece Theater or something. So I really love that.
Me and Lisa at the beginning of quarantine we just watched every Jane Austen movie, and then we moved on to the Brontes and to like the whole thing. And so it's that kind of relationship where, these two have known each other for 20 years, but different, that class structure of the 19th century,
Yes. Well, hopefully we can get into that a little bit. We can get into that social tension. Let's bring in Lady Hypatia. This next player, oh my God. What an intellect, what a raconteur, what a charming man. He had his own game show called Talk Show the Game Show. He's a writer for TV, stage, and film. He's the author of the book My Life as a Goddess, and he is a dear friend to myself, my wife, and our infant daughter. Please welcome, as Lady Hypatia Montague, Mr. Guy Branum.
Hello, good to be here.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yes,
happy quarantine.
Happy quarantine, everybody. Let's get out of the stifling atmosphere of quarantine into the stifling emotional atmosphere of 19th century social class structure.
So I'm Lady Hypatia Bartlett. Since my mom and dad are still alive, you refer to me as Lady Hypatia, not or Lady Hypatia Montague. You refer to me as Lady Hypatia. My mom is Lady Montague. She's Lord Bartlett's wife, unless Lord Bartlett's wife. You said I was the legitimate daughter, so I was raised by my mom or my grandmother, who was an early feminist who built me to be the perfect bullet to prove that women have reason. So from childhood, I was just left with tutors in a very large library to learn as much as I could and prove that women have reason. But also along the way, I figured out that there is a very high likelihood that my actual biological father is in fact Perry Bysshe Sheldon, the best friend of Lord Bartlett.
Right. You there's a little bit of a question about maybe who your actual parent is. And Lord Bartlett has been mentioned on the show before. We do a little continuity from game to game. Lord Bartlett, all we know about him, the only thing that we've mentioned about him on the show is that he was the founder of the Neptune Society. So tonight we may learn a little bit about Lady Hypatia's parentage and about how the Neptune Society started.
And of course, my trusted Bartlett was always the person I looked up to most, who took me out hunting and was this grand adventurer with stories from the continents.
Yes. I am so happy that you are playing this role, Guy, because you are someone who brings so much just knowledge about the whole era and history to it. And I'm sure at some point you'll be like, but Jared, wagon wheels didn't work like that. You get a bonus to the role.
I don't have this background. I only watched 3 movies.
Yeah.
You'll have to cover for me. I'm going to be full of anachronisms. It's not my era.
Listen, guys, we're all going to be full of anachronisms today. And this man, no less than any other, he is so funny, so incredibly weird and creative and talented. You know him from maybe The Wolf of Wall Street, TV, films he's acted in, and he's also the host and creator, one of the co-creators of the last podcast on the left, returning as the P.T. Barnum of the Neptune Society, Walton Wetherell. Please welcome Henry Zebrowski, everybody.
WW here.
Hey.
It's going to be here. Now at all of my new extravaganzas, we have corn dogs, all 2 for 1. So enjoy that. You're welcome.
I thought, like, if I'm going to have two characters who are deeply rooted in sort of a 19th century British Jane Austen novel, we better throw in Walton Wetherell to, try to sell corn dogs the whole time.
That's my main goal. I'm trying to move this tube meat. This tube meat is newly cummed in tube form. So people are very interested, very curious.
Great. Walton, now the only thing I want to tell the viewers is since they last saw Walton, several years have passed, so Walton's a little older now, so he's a little better at some things, and maybe you want to talk a little bit about that. Where is Walton at this point in his life? He's 56 now. He's very rich. He's doing well, but what do you think think's happening in his life?
I would love to one day, honestly, the life of the road has been exhausting physically to me, even though I was the peak of my physical abilities when you met me 15 years ago. Now, unfortunately, I am not quite getting around as well as I'd like to because of the way I've lived. I've lived a rough life of searching, moving from place to place. And honestly, I wish that I could just settle, write my memoirs, find someone I can stand to sit in my many rooms with me for many years, maybe make sure that I don't die alone in one of, on top of my chamber pot. That would be really nice. Honestly, I would love to just sit and write my book at some point.
Wow. Well, he's got at least one more adventure left in him, and I'll try to see if I can find him a paramour through the course of this adventure. Shall we get into it, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Then the only advice I will give is that Call of Cthulhu is a mystery horror game. Mystery means you, as players, should walk around asking questions, talking to everyone you can, looking in every corner that you can. And horror means it's not really about defeating the monster or defeating the bad guy necessarily. If you survive, you won. That's what I always say before we begin the game. If you survive, you won. And today's adventure,
I think if you die, you also win. Call of Cthulhu. That's my
a good
belief.
point. Thank you, Adam, for having such an open mind about me killing your character in approximately 45 minutes. Okay. Today's adventure begins with a letter to Lady Hypatia Montague. Lady Hypatia Montague. Please forgive my bad English. My name is Andre Horta, and I am a simple farmer of the Netherlands. I know they call this new kingdom we are in Belgium, but I must say I belong to the old world. I write you because my farm has come to hard times. It is the very sad story you have heard before. I do not ask for pity. I write you with a sale offer to maybe help you and help my family in return. It is my understanding that you were acquainted with the poet Lord Graham Grayson Bartlett. Perhaps you are aware he made a tour of Europe in 1815. But you are not aware that this man stayed in my very own home. I possess some papers of his that may be of interest to you who knew him, or to the world of letters. I cannot sell them here as he is not known in my own country. It is also my understanding that your Neptune Society collects curiosity. If you send agents to collect these papers, perhaps you will find some additional funny objects here that interest you. We are quite near the site of the final defeat of Napoleon, and so possess some old relics from that battle that are junk to us, but may be of treasure to you. There are many ancient and curious things at my farm. As I said, I am of the old world. I have enclosed my address and the place to reach me by post. If you would like to send an agent to verify my claims and make an offer, I entreat you to do so. Sincerely, Andre Horta. So, the Neptune Society would like you to go. You're all members of the Neptune Society, which is a global, globe-hopping society dedicated to collecting strange, unique curios and artifacts. Of course, Walton's in that business for himself, but he occasionally does business with the society. He does have a membership in it. Lady Hypatia, you're probably in it because Lord Bartlett was the founder of the Neptune Society. And Robbie Potter, you're maybe not even that in it. You're just Lady Hypatia's body man, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm her assistant.
I'm in it because the Neptune Society wanted to send a message to Parliament, and Potter is also in it as a provisional member because we wanted to send a message about how we will provisionally socially interact with the working classes because it is a new day. It's the 19th century.
Yes.
I love the mixtures of all of these classes. I think it's so interesting to see how people mix. I love because, I see the look on Lady Hypatia's face, knowing that may not enjoy a lunch with me, but also know I bring tubed meat.
Do you enjoy tube meat, Lady Hypatia?
The
tube meat he's provided?
It's a delight and a triumph of the new sciences that are changing our world. Down you are the Holy Roman Empire, up with tubed meat.
Let's set the scene then. I think that Walton's done it for us. You're all having dinner at the Neptune Society, which is actually in Limehouse, kind of a rundown part of London, but above an old kind of seafarers tavern called the Sign of the Trident. There is a proper gentleman's club. Oh, you can see it here behind me. Look at that.
Oh, this is like the Soho House. This is incredible.
It's exactly like the Los Angeles Soho House on Sunset. And up here you are having dinner, tubed meat that Walton has provided with
the best part about the tubed meat is that it hides all the little bits of cartilage that normally get thrown into the grinder as well.
I enjoy game.
The chairman of the Neptune Society, Captain Middlemass, who is kind of also sort of a godfather to you, Lady Hypatia, someone who's been someone significant in your life, is asking you to go and try to retrieve these papers, to go to this place. The place that Andre Horta has given is a place called Haggidistop Farm. Haggidistop Farm. That's Dutch. Your mission is to travel there.
At 3 J's or 4?
There are no J's in that.
That's a hilarious joke about the Dutch language. It's
actually, you know what? Spell it with as many J's as you want.
All right.
And they want you to authenticate Bartlett's papers, see if they're real, and then make an offer and secure the sale. You can arrange for the money via Nagelmacher's Bank in Brussels. That's the real huge ancient and storied bank in Brussels.
I don't trust any bank that's also the name after a bunch of people who make waffles.
Well, then perhaps Walton will want, Middlemass says, well, then perhaps you will want to use your own money and I will reimburse you. You've been down this road with him before. It's probably not it's up to you.
I'd rather use someone else's money.
So while you're there at the farm, you may peruse the other curiosities that this man has to offer. And you have Middlemass's trust in this matter to maybe make some other purchases if there are interesting curios and artifacts at this farm. But Lord Bartlett, being the founder of the Neptune Society, the Neptune Society would pay quite a bit of money to get some papers that they don't already have of his.
Well, I also have to express to the table, once everyone is gone except for the servants who I don't acknowledge as human beings, that I have suspicions that this low farmer from the Low Countries sending this message to me is really this is blackmail. Some have suspected that there were relations between my father and the poet Perry Bysshe Sheldon, which were unnatural or of the classical world at the least. And
nothing wrong, different lifestyles. Everybody,
people incredibly uncomfortable, but he's trying to be woke. He's like, oh, really? Oh, that's okay.
And if this were to get out to the papers in Paris, it would kill my grandmother. So, we have to go and take care of this personally. We have to shut it down. And maybe there is some good shit at this weird farm.
It's important to be discreet. And then I think it's also very important to know that because he is a low farmer, he has no clue what city prices are. So we can lowball the fuck out of him.
Yes. I personally interact with people in trade. They understand this. Half as good as a Jew.
Yeah. Half as good.
Oh, Robert agrees Lady Hypatia's reputation is the most important thing.
Very good. Captain Middlemass gives you a sample of Lord Bartlett's handwriting so that you may authenticate the papers. And this sample actually contains a poem that I think Lady Hypatia at least is well aware of. Lord Bartlett wrote a poem a long time ago, and it's a poem with many different stanzas. And what it does is it's dedicated to his newborn daughter. And it encourages her to go out and see the world, to walk in the places that he has walked, and to see the wonders of the world that he has seen. And one of the stanzas particularly catches your eye, Lady Hypatia, because you're thinking about taking this journey to outside of Brussels. And you know that there was one stanza that read, "'Neath Netherlands a shadow stirs, and turns the earth to sodden graves. Of bloodied coursers, braves, and curs, their emptied essence which it craves. 'Pon battle sites where emperors recognize themselves as slaves." Today's episode of the Neptune Society, The Ghosts of Neptune.
Forget it. Metal, man. Honestly, it was very metal. I love it. Very.
Yeah, that was great.
And so you head out by sail from London across the North Sea to Bruges. And you marvel at its beautiful medieval architecture while you're in Bruges. Are you I think you're the touristing types, are you not? Is Lady Hype? I know Walton probably is.
Oh yeah, I love tiny shops. I love little coffees. I love little pastries. I love all of this. This is wonderful.
Yes.
Gotta love a church that is rooted in the primitive brutality of Catholicism. I want to look at that.
Well, in fact, you do visit the Church of Our Lady to behold a work by Michelangelo, the Madonna and Child. And you are all standing in the quiet transept of the church looking at the Madonna and Child. It's very gorgeous.
This is nice.
Yes, here it is.
Robert nods like he appreciates it. He's trying to fake taste.
Can we get that a little closer so they can see the beautiful detail? Clinton Truck's our secret keeper.
But I will say, you notice there's no crowd here. You know what I mean?
Yes, look at how the Christ child.
This is not really bringing in a lot of people.
No, this is not. So, it's not. Yeah, you're right, Walton. I mean, the occasional, patrician walks through. A landed member of the gentry walks through and kind of humps.
They don't care. Yeah, literally. I mean, I sewed a chimp's head to a trout.
Yeah,
and I filled several rooms, like money-paying people.
Robert's trying to pay while Walton is ranting about this. He's trying to pray. He's like has head bowed. Like yeah. No, trying to.
It's just boring, honestly. There's no music.
I roll sculpture to be edified by this moment and strengthened for the work to come.
You certainly may. Yeah, you certainly may. I mean, it's Michelangelo for heck's sake. And this is the only Michelangelo that ever left Italy, really, that ever left Rome. So it's kind of an amazing thing to be able to behold this.
In Italy, they have beautiful pasta and they have all that wine. Here, it's mostly smoked fish, which is difficult.
Thank you. I'm just trying to
eat in the
summertime.
I rolled a 47. I don't
quiet moment.
Okay, that's okay. I mean, maybe it's a bad omen. A Lady Hypatia is left a bit cold. She cannot quite commune with the muse in this location. And so, at any rate, it's soon time to move on. By carriage, your party crosses into the interior, and you go down straight dirt roads, passing the low-lying polders that have reclaimed the land from the primordial sea. Polders, they're these kind of incredible things that the Netherlanders figured out, where they kind of like raise up certain land because it's all almost at sea level or below there in Belgium. So they kind of raise up humps of land into these beautiful geometric shapes to kind of farm them out of the ocean.
Of the Netherlands in Civ 6, Adam.
Yeah.
All right. Don't know. I haven't had.
That's a very good Civ 6 joke.
It's true, man. You got to play if you play the Netherlands, you got to use those polders. They're actually a great they're a great advance in Civ 6. Okay. So soon the land slopes up a bit and you are in green rolling hills, many of them topped by windmills that spin in the summer sun. In Brussels, you take rooms. Brussels is about 30 miles from the farm that you are going to be traveling to the next day. In Brussels, you take rooms and you cross the Great Place. The Great Place is this enormous square in the very center of Brussels where all the guild houses are lined up row on row. And here you view another sculpture. You view the famous sculpture Mannequin Piss.
I would.
Now
I would
this
like
I
to-
like.
I would like to
This time.
Now, can I ask, Jared? This is the 1850s. Am I right? 40s.
The 1855 is the year.
And do they have this little hose in 1855 too?
Well, the photo is from my last trip to Mannequin Piss. You know, I go every year.
You always make the pilgrimage. Yeah.
Right. And actually, this version of the sculpture is one that replaced the original Mannequin Piss. The original Mannequin Piss was made of stone, and this one is made of bronze. So eventually, when they had to replace him. But you are looking, I mean, how exciting is it to be in a role-playing game where you can pretend your character is looking at the original Mannequin Piss?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not. It's much better than what you experienced in real life when you saw it.
Yeah,
Yes.
every year. Yeah.
We're currently having a better experience than you, imagining ourselves looking at a stone version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome, guys.
Incomparable.
It's all role playing is all about going places you could never go, but you're going in your imagination.
My goal is I want to make one of these pissing statues of Lincoln.
Great idea.
Can I Robert, while looking at Mannequin Piss, can I roll psychology because he's curious to guess what was running through the sculptor's mind when he made this?
You cannot roll psychology. What you could roll is history or occult because it is a folklore story.
Oh.
I have actually a very high occult. I could do it.
I'll roll occult, but I won't succeed. I did not succeed.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I did 12.
Okay. I rather than come up with the actual story on Wikipedia, I would like Walton to just explain to Robert Potter why this statue is here.
Pray
It's just
tell
basically-
Mr. Weatherhell, what is this strange statue?
It is to express the freedom of a child to not be harassed by local constables for walking around nude, being able to pee wherever one wants to miterate. They can do so at their will. So it's about the freedom of the childlike essence of the human spirit.
Oh, so this is about how no matter what's happened to us or where we began in life, we can truly be free and live out our most impossible dreams, be they pissing in the street or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in the Netherlands, they are natural piss drinkers. So this is actually can also be used as a fountain.
That's actually
true? I
not
should
even
drink from this
Walton,
fountain.
That I made up.
Okay.
That I made up.
You actually, I guess, could walk up and drink from it. Nobody is doing that. I will say that even though Walton, made up the explanation, he's not too far from correct. But we digress. Let us now head forward in our adventure. And by the way, anybody can stop me at any time if they would like to do something to prepare themselves. But the next morning, you are heading out to Haggidistop Farm. Is there anything you'd like to purchase here in Brussels or prepare before you go?
Well, how much stuff are we bringing back? My question is that are we going and bringing and shipping, or are we going to are we bringing a cart? Are we bringing some helpers? Is there anybody in town that can come approach this with us? Or is this, I know that you want, Lady Hypatia, I know you would like to keep this pretty discreet. So you don't want me to go and tell everyone that where we are, because normally what I would say is we might ask some due diligence questions about the nature of this farm or if anybody knows what we're walking into, but we are trying to be shush about this, correct?
I mean, I think doing some light, what do you know about the town around the cafes of the town isn't terrible. I also wouldn't be opposed to hiring some porters. who speak French instead of the Low German that these people speak. And I would like to go buy some chocolates and maybe check out any bookstores in the area and see if there's anything in a language I can understand.
This is a lovely Sunday.
That is a lovely Sunday. Okay, so if I understand correctly, we're going to get information on maybe where you're headed from the cafe.
Higgabord? What is the name of this farm?
Haggidistop. It's spelled
Haggidistop.
Haggidistop. Haggidistop.
What is our means of transportation? It's a hired carriage.
You have a hired carriage, yeah. This is a closed carriage. It's it's a bit luxurious because the lady must travel in style. But
finally, somebody else has some taste. Honestly, it's so nice. Everybody's always roughing it all the time. This is so nice to have a cart.
Go ahead.
Robert would like to with the day because we're going into a little bit of a more rural area where things are dicey. He wants to rent a horse. You can rent a horse, right? You can rent a horse.
Yes, absolutely.
He wants to go to the budget car rental of horses and get a horse so that he can ride along and have a little bit more mobility depending on how things go.
That's a great idea. Yeah. I am not even going to make you roll your credit rating for that, but I'm going to say that probably Walton or Lady Hypatia must do it for you because I think your credit rating is like 10.
Yeah, I can probably, depending on how much it is.
Lady Hypatia, I presume, would be paying my bills. I'm her employee.
That's a good point. I'm not going to stop a man from paying for something.
You know what? You got the cart. You got the cart. I can do this.
You got a horse.
We're all two in character already. This is great.
No, it's okay. And I love it when role-playing games like suddenly get into the nitty-gritty of like, wait, can we rent a horse?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the way that the games are not like books or movies, and I really enjoy it. Okay. So my next thing to say is that, and then this is a question Walton asked: if you find something large on the farm, the carriage that you currently have, if there was a lot of stuff you wanted to bring back, the carriage you currently have would not do the job. So if you wanted to get like a big wagon that you could load stuff onto or something like that, now would maybe be the time, or maybe you'd like to go and look first, like you said.
Let's look first and then see if we're going to throw any more money in a chamber pot.
Well, yeah. Potter, what do you think? Potter, do you think we should take a wagon? Do you think we need a man? Or do you think...
I mean, all we know that we're picking up are some letters. We don't have any information that we're hauling heavy things. And don't we normally pick up curios? Like, it's not obvious that we'd need to haul something larger than... a small trunk, if anything.
I have a new showstop in Wyoming. Do you have any idea how much square footage I have to fill? I legitimately need something.
Okay, so hire a cart if you need a cart.
Well, I was gonna wait still to see if he's got anything, because then we're gonna bring a cart over there, and it's gonna. You know how many times I've been attacked by fish people?
I mean,
honestly,
if he's just a blackmailer, you probably don't want that cart. So I understand your thought process. Let's so you have the horse that has been procured for you, Robert, and I believe that your other two questions, Lady Hypatia, were could I ask around the cafes about where I'm going?
I'm waiting. Somebody else is going to ask around cafes. I'm going to a bookstore and I'm getting chocolates.
Okay,
I would say mainly the idea is to tell people I'm interested in purchasing land around this area. Can anyone tell me what's nice out there? What should I expect upon a surveillance trip? Because I don't want them to know I'm here doing any sort of specific business.
Well, Walton does not speak Dutch or French. As far as I know.
Excuse me, sir. I am asking a very specific question about how are the woods, the land around here.
Great. I think that sounds like a persuade roll. He can do a persuade roll to get someone to talk to him.
Let me see if I can do it.
And if he does get this, he's going to get some interesting, maybe useful information about the place you're going. If he fails it, he will not.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, pass.
Great. You finally find, and it wouldn't have been that out there to find someone who speaks English, who is actually a native of the area, and they tell you that you are heading to where, right where the Battle of Waterloo was fought 40 years ago. And they say that whole place out there is total shit. I mean, very rural, dirty people, not a place you want to hang out. People don't like it out there.
Great.
Be careful.
Oh, be careful.
Yeah.
Great.
And then the guy's like, okay, and drops his little derby and walks away.
I'm done with you. Thank you.
Lady Hypatia, what? You're in a bookshop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. You're in this cute, quaint little bookshop. It's almost like a closet in size, and it's in this, ancient, weathered medieval building. And there's a cute little man with fun spectacles and a cute little vest, kind of behind this like counter where books are like he's almost like just opened like a little hole in the books to like look at you through. And what kind of a book are you looking for? Or what are you trying to find information about?
I'm looking for anything about the history or folklore of the area. I have been haunted since childhood by this poem and want to maybe understand what my father was referencing a little better. I might even, are we talking in French or German?
This gentleman speaks French.
Okay. I might actually sort of roughly translate the stanza and say it's a very beautiful poem to me. I wanted to know if there was any sort of history or folklore about the spirits below these lands or the Rhine.
Okay, and let's see. I don't think you need to roll. I think that you've asked him a very specific thing. I think he needs to roll, right? Yeah, and he does really well. And he says to you, very interesting area of the country. The place where Waterloo occurred, it is a place where much blood has been spilled in these countries. Much blood has seeped into the earth there. And there's actually very old legends that, the many men who died at the battle, their blood fed the earth. It fed the earth and it fouled the place. It made it rotten.
This makes Robbie very uncomfortable.
Are there any books about this? I'm a book learner, not sort of like auditory communication.
Well, let me see. And he kind of looks around and he's like, nothing about the legend that I just explained to you, but here is a book of Flemish folklore. Perhaps you are interested in that?
Do you have anything in a language that educated people speak? Do you have like a...
Oh, madame. Of course I do. The Flemish. How it's hard to be here, living here, to be honest with you. There's an odor. All right. Yeah. And then he brings out like it's no longer on Flemish folklore. It's like kind of like a bunch of old medieval legends of France.
I'll buy both books.
Very good. No need to roll your credit rating for a couple of slim volumes. And now, armed with some creepy legends and a horse, are you ready to head out?
One more thing.
Yes.
I would like a Flemish to English dictionary if he's got one.
He does have that. And so you are now armed with that as well.
Robert chose a horse that, was really disregarded by the stable guy. He was like, you don't want this horse. And Robert saw him and said, no, this horse, this is a good horse, has a good heart, and it's strong, despite what they may say. And that's the horse he chooses.
Roll ride. If you fail this roll, Robert was completely wrong, and this old nag is going to betray you.
I actually had a great success. I rolled a 4 out of 75. So if you beat the extreme or whatever, Clint said we should tell you.
Yes. So please check your ride skill. I don't know what you're going to name this horse you rented, but you were right. This horse has a heart that beats along with its rider. It doesn't look like much, but this horse is a special horse, and Robert Potter has picked him out.
They're both doing like that horse. What's the horse step? Like I can see they're immediately doing like a side decanting, like back and forth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Robert hops on him and they immediately start doing dressage, like just.
Its name is with 3 J's.
His name's Blackie.
You head out the next morning to Haggidistop farm, but the weather soon turns gloomy. Black clouds billow overhead and reach down to rake the horizon with fingers of rain. The land here is muddy and desolate, as if the battle that occurred here 40 years ago did something to break this part of the world. You pass several bleak-looking little farms before you come upon your destination, and it stands before you. Yes, there it is, Haggidistop Farm. It's a little different from this beautiful etching print that our friend Clinton Trucks has found for us, because the difference between that picture and Haggidistop Farm is that there is a little mound beside this farm with an old windmill sitting on it. Looks very old and it's creaking in the wind. But below that is the farm, which is a walled compound. And as your carriage drives up the slope, a man comes out. He waves to you, and he begins opening the large gate. And your carriage and Blackie move into the yard of the farm. And
I love a creepy butler.
Yes,
I never get over it. I love it. You
guys are all jolted as you hear the gate go clang shut behind you, and you hear chick, chick, like you're kind of locked into this walled compound now. And then you look around and you see that the farmhouse, barn, and stables here inside the walls are ancient indeed. Not a board or stone seems to sit straight. The whole structure gives the appearance that it is about to sink into the earth. A few scrawny chickens pick at leaves in the yard. An old nag blinks at you curiously from the stables. And then your host appears. He's the very man who just shut the gate for you. Hello. I am Andre Horta.
Hi, nice to meet you. Lovely place. You know what I would say about this place is it's got good bones. There's nothing but potential here.
Yes, we know much about bones here. Yes.
Is he missing 2 fingers?
Yes, he is. Yes. Did you bring that up?
No,
please.
He kind of holds them like that the whole time he's talking to you, though. And he says, "Forgive me, as I have no servants to speak of. I must wait on you myself, but it is no burden to me. I am used to serving others."
I would like to get out of the carriage and dramatically remove the hood of my cape and announce myself.
Yes, the Lady Hypatia, it is such an honor to make your acquaintance. May I have the distinct honor of helping you down from your high and lofty perch?
I would like to
No. Robert doesn't allow him to do that, and helps Lady Hypatia down himself.
I'm just going to say that they're very particular. This is a very particular group. Name is Walton Wetherell. I'm prestidigitator and provocateur international.
Yes.
I don't want you to feel insulted. We're just here. It's just so nice. Different. We're just different. We have different values.
No, I understand. You are American, so you you live differently. Yes, I am of the old world, so my ways may seem strange to you as well.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! I know we were here to see about some documents.
Yes. Yes. Well, shall I take you to them then?
Robert, casing him, it wants to sort of like, am I able to figure out like how he lost those fingers? Can I recognize what that wound is? Does he look like a military man?
Robert has looked at them again. Let's see something. Oh yes. So suddenly You look at my hand, sir. You wonder what has happened to my hand.
I didn't notice anything different about the hand. Honestly, I thought it was just a normal hand.
What?
Did you get?
I try to play it cool. Yeah. Oh, yes, I was curious.
What's wrong with your hand?
It is a farming accident. As I have said, I have come on hard times. Everybody can roll spot hidden if they'd like, though. And I think that Lady Hypatia, you can roll biology. And if you do that,
Did I roll first aid or no?
yes, you may roll first aid.
I did not make it.
I fail.
I make it.
Lady Hypatia, you know quite a bit about biology, and you've done dissection before. And whatever this farming accident was, it very cleanly, almost to where it's like a perfect right angle, like where the where it's cut off, like very cleanly cut off his fingers. This accident.
I would like to say that, forgive me, but I am but a weak girl, 18 years of age. This travel has put much burden upon me. Could I bother him for a cup of tea or whatever low brew you enjoy here? Working in very slow French, which I assume he knows from dealing with landlords and such.
Of course, I speak many languages. Let me provide some tea for you. Perhaps the rest of you would like to come in to my humble farmhouse and break bread with me before we look at the papers in question.
I could eat.
Yeah.
Come.
May I ask honestly? Love the old windmill.
Yes,
Love the old windmill. This is sort of a natural formation that is underneath this windmill over here.
Yes. Yes, a mound. Yes.
Very good.
Come
What
inside,
kind of a
yes.
mound?
Yeah, very good. But what kind of? I mean, I could press, but maybe.
Well, you shall see, sir, that the cellar is built into the side of the hill. A very ingenious form of architectural innovation that was put in place by the knights who originally owned this land.
Knights? What knights?
Knights. Are there a specific type of knight that you work with? Is this the
From the Crusades, sir. From the Crusades.
So you mean the Knights Templar, like the Knights Templar?
Yes, like that. Come. And he takes you into his home where he has already prepared you. See, there are pots bubbling, and he has prepared a dinner of a repast of chicken, potatoes, and leeks. And he makes a tea after he goes out and gets some buckets from an old well. You can now see out the window from this little dining area that in the back of the part of the house you couldn't see. There's like a kind of interior little courtyard, and there's a well out there, and there's also a cannon. There is a cannon sitting out in that yard.
I have appraise. Is there as I go? Can I see things? Can I roll to like when I see that and being like saying like any of this could be worth something? Because at this point I know I was like the way you can tell if someone has money or not is where they hide the good stuff.
Yeah,
the good stuff has to it's either up front, which means they care about it, but normally that's all they have. But when it's hidden, it normally means that they have no idea what they have.
Yes. Please roll praise on that cannon. And if you guys would like to ask more questions about the windmill, you certainly are.
I got it. I got it.
I was also going to ask about the cannon, but
I will go ahead. Why don't you ask? Since we know Walton is about to know if it is worth anything. What is Robert's question?
I want to know if I can recognize it as being a modern cannon, since I have been in the army, and like if there's like a nationality, or if I can tell what the origin of it is. Yeah.
Great, roll firearms for me. I'm going to allow you to do that with firearms.
Thank you. I have a success.
Very good.
A strong success.
Walton, you immediately could tell this cannon has been rusting out there for a while, but you can tell because you're used to doing this kind of job that it could be shined up, you could fix those little wooden wheels that it rolls on, and you would have a nice little piece here. Like it might fetch a little bit of money because
kids love jumping on these things. They take the old pictographs. We've got this whole new center where it's just a thing that people take pictures next to. It's incredible. It's so cheap. You just got to get the thing and then it pays for itself.
And Robert Potter, you understand that from your role that this is an authentic cannon used by Napoleon's army, the French army, probably 40 or 50 years ago. So it is a real
little Napoleon hats. And for the kids, when they come in and then they can put the Napoleon hats on and then they get to picture next to the Napoleon's cannon.
This belongs in a museum, sir.
A traveling museum.
Your tea is all in front of you, Lady Hypatia, and the rest of you, and your food has now been served up.
Can I sniff with a chemistry roll just to be like, does this smell like what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, you certainly may.
I mean, you never know. A low creature who's trying to blackmail me about my father's homosexuality. Like, who knows what else he could do to a young lady of merit?
Yes, absolutely.
I did not make it.
I'm going to say no matter what happens, I think that this thing is going to give us diarrhea. This is just a part of traveling.
Well, I will tell you this. You partake in the tea, and you taste just a little bit, and it tastes off to you, Lady Hypatia. It tastes like there's something wrong with it. Now, Lady Hypatia, I believe, has some chemistry skills. So if she would like to learn more about that at some point, she may attempt to do so. This is not I'm not saying like you drank it, it's in your system now. Like, she does taste that it's off. All of you do. Maybe you're kind of making eye contact with each other, like.
This is how refreshing, and just like letting it just touch my lip, like do the so much of it.
The water has a different flavor. Yes, the water has a different flavor. The soil here, many things have been buried in this soil. So much history.
Robert tries to cover up his displeasure by how did you come to have one of Napoleon's cannons? Where did you find that? Yeah.
Oh, well, it has been here for a very long time. We are very close to the battlefield. And, my father, he was a collector of all kinds of things. And everyone left in such a hurry from that battle. Some things got lost. My father, he said this cannon took off the head of many an Englishman.
Well, if it's taking too much room, I can honestly, if there's too much stuff here that's kind of old and historical and all junked up, I work for a removal service that can come and just move all of this for free for you. We can just move all of this.
Oh, that would be, yes, if we can agree on a good price. This is why I've brought.
This is just such garbage. This is barely. I'm basically going to take this out and I'll leave it some other place. I mean, but we can obviously. We can exchange some money. Obviously, we can do
well. Feel free to examine it more closely later. I mean, it would be my honor if you would take a close look and see if it would be worth a couple of coins. It would mean so much to my family.
I love to help the lows.
Well, this has been a very nice dinner. It's so nice to have guests.
It is this is.
I'm going to take one bite of everything. Do the potatoes, the apples of the earth taste like sadness?
They don't. They taste like normal potatoes.
Okay.
Robert is looking a little green after that discussion of dead Englishmen on the battlefield, and is frankly, he doesn't say anything at dinner, but is upset at the idea of enemy weapons being purchased and used in a traveling museum, weapons that killed good English military men.
I think
that killed
I think that Robert should roll his sanity, and I'm not going to, of course, make him go screaming into the night at this, but I'd like to know how he was affected. I think that it's appropriate here.
And I'm very sorry. Do I roll under my current sanity score, right?
That's right. And your sanity can go down during the course of the game. So when it gets a new lower level, you still have to roll under that new lower level.
Yeah. I pass. I got a 41 against 70.
Robert is able to, as much as you'd like, Adam, Robert's able to hide his great displeasure at the conversation.
Yeah, he just sort of sets his jaw and is a little bit quiet for a few minutes and doesn't eat anything.
Well, I would love to maybe purvey some more of your lands here. I know that you have more specific business that you are seeking to come to an end towards, and I know that I can maybe go and kind of entertain myself if that is allowable. I could go look around.
Certainly, yes. Oh, yes, please be my guest. Yes, you have the rule of the grounds. You are like the little kings and queen of my home for right now.
Thank you. You're making me feel uneasy, in a way.
I suggest to Lady Hypatia. Oh, there he is again.
Yeah, I really please move back. Move back a foot. That would be great.
I take Lady Hypatia aside in a quiet moment and suggest that we get on with the business that brought us here as soon as possible, because I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I don't like being around the site of a battlefield for that long.
All right.
And this guy's weird.
So, Weatherell, are you going to go look about the grounds as night falls?
Yes, I'll let you. I know that you have private business and things you want to handle, so I will give you that room.
What month is it?
It is June.
Okay, so we're in the fucking Netherlands. It's going to be light until 10 p.m. About what time is it?
It's getting on. It's getting on because you've had dinner. So I'd say that it might be like 7:38 now.
Okay, so after Weatherell leaves, I'll, with quiet dignity, say, let us now move to the subject of Lord Bartlett's papers.
Oh, yes, of course. If you will please to follow me. And then he kind of goes back to an old door and he opens it with a ring of keys.
Just scream if you're being murdered or anything, all right? Just make sure you let me know. I'll be out here. The walls are pretty thin.
I would not murder anyone myself.
Buddy, I'm American. I'm a crude, piggish American.
I like the jokes that you make. Okay. Follow me, please, if you would. And he heads down these cellar stairs. And these cellar stairs, yes, rickety wooden stairs lead about 30 feet down into the base of the hill I mentioned, the hill that the windmill sits upon. Are you following him down?
Yes.
Very good. You come down into a cellar that is completely cluttered with tons of junk, old broken chairs, a spinning wheel, countless clay jars full of moldering fruits. The floor is earthen and there is a damp smell. Both Robert and Lady Hypatia need to make a constitution roll. Constitution roll.
Can I also ask a question before we get too far?
You may.
I failed the constitution roll. Just against my straight constitution, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I failed it.
I made it. Also, I would have liked to have pocketed my dinner knife very discreetly before going down.
Oh, well, in that case, I want to see you. I want to see. Actually, I'll just do this. Okay, you pocketed it. You are down in the cellar, and Robert, you immediately become extremely sick feeling, and you suddenly feel incredibly fatigued and lightheaded. Like you find yourself having to lean against a post to kind of keep upright.
And the question I wanted to ask was, do we go outside the gates again to come here, or are we inside?
No, you're inside of his house. He has taken you down into a cellar that kind of leads into the side of this hill.
I was confusing that with the windmill that had the cellar thing.
Well, so his house is close enough to that hill that this cellar, it kind of leads into the side of the hill. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's important
Okay.
to see these things in your head because it can affect, your plans or how you play it. Okay, so he is now opening an old seaman's chest. He uses it unlocking the ring of keys I mentioned, and he's digging through a bunch of papers. You are not quite able to see what the papers are, but if you make a spot hidden, you might look over his shoulder, or you could just wait till he produces the papers you're asking.
I'll try a spot hidden.
Okay, great.
I failed.
Okay, no problem.
I would also like to say, when I see Potter become sick, I would like to say, compose yourself, man.
Can I roll first aid to see if there's anything I can do to relieve my fatigue?
Yeah, you can. I think so. And
like how would I deal with lightheadedness? I just, I have training.
Yeah.
I fail at that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. All rolls are hard for you right now is one thing that I'll mention because you're kind of like weirdly kind of dizzy and like it's not only hard to move, it's hard to think a little bit. Eventually.
I try to hold it together. I don't yarf.
Eventually.
Does my saying "compose yourself, man" do anything to make him get it together?
That's true. She did give me a direct order. What'd you say?
I should have given you a bonus die for that. For Lady Hypatia telling you to get it together. You know what? I'm going to let you roll again because Lady Hypatia said get it together.
Okay.
Her family has done everything for you. You don't want to let her down.
Yes.
I got a girl. I'm not an adult in Britain at the time. We had to ask the Lord Chancellor if I could leave the country.
And I'm her sworn protector.
That's right here in my notes.
Journey, and I need to be strong for her and support her in the way she's always supported me. Even though that's frankly a one-sided relationship, I'm very loyal, but who knows how loyal she is to me. I succeeded. I got a 54 against my first aid.
Very good. You think a swig of brandy would help you?
Do I have one?
Roll your intelligence. Roll your intelligence. Anytime someone wants to have something in their inventory that's not crazy for them to have, I have them roll intelligence to see if they remembered it.
I equaled my intelligence. I have a 70 and I rolled a 70.
You have a little flask with just a little bit of brandy left in it. Very good. You kind of feel yourself a little bit more again. Finally, okay. Horta, who seems extremely concerned with whether or not you're seeing into his chest, shuts it and locks it and hands you 3 slim volumes. He offers them to Lady Hypatia. 3 slim volumes. Let's see. Yes. These look like they're about 300 or so pages. And if you open them up, I can tell you a little bit more about them.
Yes, I would like to open them up and start can I roll library use to scan through them and see if I can find anything noteworthy? My library use isn't great.
You could roll read English.
Okay.
This won't be the official reading the whole thing roll, but it could, yeah.
I very much make a read English.
Okay, very good. So what you're looking at, first of all, you're pretty much certain that this is your Lord Bartlett's handwriting. And you are looking at his journal and travel log from when he toured the continent at the beginning of the century in 1814 and 1815. And there are even unpublished poems in here. So this is quite a find. Porta goes, I did not lie. You see, it is a very, very good book for you.
And when you
can I case the basement a little bit, surreptitiously, just sort of what else is down here?
Yeah, you certainly may. Why don't you give me a spot hidden roll for that? And if you do, you're going to find a clue.
I succeed.
There you go. You kind of look past the old wooden spinning wheel and the old chair, and behind that you see an old shield that looks medieval in make, and it has a pretty imposing looking like red dragon emblazoned on the face of it. Meanwhile, Walton Wetherill, where are you going?
He said I should take a closer look at that cannon.
Yeah,
so I might actually go take a closer look at the cannon.
Very good. So you're kind of examining the cannon, and you've already kind of appraised it from far off, but you're kind of taking a close look at it. And why don't you give me a spot hidden or firearms roll to notice something about it?
I make my spot hidden.
Very good. Walton, you're kind of like out in the yard and you're kind of looking around, and the whole time the old windmill is creaking ominously, like. And then you kind of like you kind of look into the barrel of the cannon, and you're like, "Oh, it's loaded." And that's when all of a sudden the wick lights, and something's happening, and you're like right in front of it, and it's about to fire. It's firing at exactly the worst moment while you were kind of like looking into the barrel. I need a dodge roll or a hard dexterity roll from Walton Wetherill right now.
Oh my God, am I gonna go fucking killed by a cannon at the very top?
I really hope a cannonball just explodes your head like a watermelon.
I mean,
that would be so good. Take me to the Gallagher show, baby.
Yeah, no, man, I blow it. Yeah, absolutely. Of course I do.
Okay, now here are the ways that you can succeed at something you failed at in Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. You could push the roll, meaning you roll again, and if you get it wrong the second time, something even worse happens if you fail the second time. But you have to tell me what you're bringing to it that lets you push the roll, that lets you try harder. Or you could add luck. How much did you fail it by?
A lot.
Okay.
Like a lot. Yeah.
Luck's not going to help you then, because I only let people use 10 luck max. So,
yes.
Walton, oh my God, this could be awful for you, my friend. What are you going to do? Are you going to try pushing the roll?
Is there I guess I can't do anything, right? I can't just grab a rock and put it in the whole front of it, right?
You know what? What a cool idea, actually. And that's a great way to push that roll. Actually, I'm going to say if you're doing that, I'll let you roll something else. Is there a different skill?
I'm trying to think, what would I do? I mean, honestly, it would be like either mechanical repair, which is worse than my other one. And then I got
sleight of hand. You got sleight of hand? Sounds like sleight of hand.
It could be, yeah.
It could be sleight of hand, which is basically just the same as my dodge.
Okay. Well, why don't you just roll the dodge again then, and let's see what happens.
See what happens. Oh, come on. I fucking got it.
You did not. Are you serious?
I got it.
Okay. I don't know what happens, but Clint is like sending me a note like that. Doesn't that seem like a worse way to handle a cannon than just like maybe kicking it out of the way?
I don't know.
Stuffing a rock in it.
But I figured it might blow out the back.
Stuff a rock. Yes, exactly. You stuff a rock in it, and the whole cannon, the back of it, like blows open. And down below in the cellar, you guys all hear like, and like little bits of stuff fall down, and Horta goes, "Oh dear, what could have happened?"
Everything's all right. Everything's cool. Everything's cool up here.
He goes running up out of the cellar. Horta does.
Okay.
Leaving you alone in the cellar. You can follow him to see what happened to Walton, or you can.
I'm gonna follow, and I'm gonna tell Lady Hypatia, check out that shield on the wall.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna
I'll follow up because I'm the man of action. I'll say, "You wait here. It's not safe." And then I'm like, "Go, case the joint."
I'm gonna look at the shield, and I'm gonna look at the chest.
Okay. The shield, you are not really quite familiar with this coat of arms. It is possibly a medieval coat of arms. Mm-hmm. So what you will need to do is roll history and hard. You must succeed at hard, and then you will know something about this shield and the organization it once belonged to.
Is hard the upper number or lower number?
It is the upper.
Oh, I made it.
Oh, very good. Check your history.
What does that mean?
it means you put a little check in the box beside it, and that means next time we play, your history skill may even improve. You may get more points to it.
Okay.
You recognize this. Lady Hypatia at some point must have done some readings on different knightly orders, but this was a disgraced order called the Brotherhood of the Dragon, who came back from the Crusades, and they were said to have picked up some of the horrible practices of strange religions and cults in the Far East. And that is what you know of them. They were said to practice human sacrifice and things like that when they returned. And so they are a disgraced order, the Brotherhood of the Dragon. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, up top, Robert, you arrive with Horta out into the yard where the cannon has exploded, and Walton probably sits in the mud, like kind of just having barely avoided death.
I run up to him and check him for injuries.
Yes, Walton saved himself with that pushed roll, so he's completely fine.
This man attempted to kill me by telling me to check out the cannon here and telling me, he said, oh, you should do a closer look at the cannon. And so in my curiosity, I was just interested in cannons. I went to go look at it, and it just self-exploded. It self-lit.
My good sir, why did you light the cannon?
Why would I? I didn't light the cannon. I did no such thing.
So, Robert knows how difficult it is to light a cannon. It normally takes like 2 people to fire a cannon. So can I examine the cannon and try to figure out how it spontaneously exploded using my firearm skill?
Yeah, you may actually give me a firearm skill roll. If you do, you will know something about
I got
how
an extreme success.
Okay, wow. All right. So, this cannon was already primed. It was already loaded. And then and the wick was extremely short already, and you've heard of this happening before. Like it sits outside, it gets dry, and some sort of like fire source or heat source ignited it.
So you're gonna swamp gas me on this.
That's what you're thinking is swamp gas, but you got an extreme success, and I want you to look around. At the rainy weather, the muddy ground. It is damp and humid here.
I say there's no way this
explanation makes no sense.
There's no way this cannon could have spontaneously fired. I just say that
because the man he lit it. He lit the cannon.
Why would I commit suicide by cannon? Why didn't I just drink myself to death in my home?
No. It's not even possible for him to have lit it because when it fired, he was looking into the end of it, and the fuse was so short, as you said. There's no way the cannon's too long for him to light it himself.
All I know is thank you for dinner. Thank you for the tea. Have you gotten what you need, Robert?
Let me go check on Lady Hypatia Montague, but I go really slowly and back to the and I'm like really puzzling about this cannon.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap this up.
No. Walton, we could wrap it up, but first I have a lot more questions about the cannon, and I suggest we keep examining it for a little while. It really is a mystery. While Lady Hypatia Montague
is a strange mystery. Meanwhile, in the cellar, Lady Hypatia, what would you like to do now?
I wanted to look at the chest. I want to look around at anything else, but mainly I want to look at the chest, see if I can open it up. He didn't leave his keys, did he?
He did not. But you do see like an old metal strut that belonged to some piece of machinery that could perhaps be used to pry open the case.
I mean, I'm going to be very honest. I'm weak and a woman. That sounds terrible to any women who are watching, but I'm an 18-year-old girl in Victorian England who has been raised to not trust her own physical strength. And but also I'm going to do it. This is what my parents raised me for, was to adventure in this way and probably die an untimely death.
Right. I mean, you're like, oh, gosh darn it, I can do it. Not gosh darn though. You wouldn't use that wordage. All right. So, you want to give it a shot. So, give me a strength roll, and if you succeed, the chest is open. If you fail,
I failed.
okay, you failed. So the good news is you also haven't like broken the lock or made any kind of apparent sign that you have messed with the chest. And now I think Horda returns with Robert and Walton Wetherill.
But I'm talking very loudly as we're walking in, going
so if,
like, well, it really was a mystery about the cannon. Like, so that she knows.
She can do it.
I would, yeah. When they come down, I make it look like I've just been looking at the papers.
I am very sorry for what has happened. It is now getting quite late. Perhaps I can make it up to you by offering you to stay overnight here. Accept my generosity.
It has been lovely. I think that we should just go right now. If you have what you have, I think that we should leave. I have farm allergies.
But you have not even seen the statue.
What statue?
Oh, would you like to view the statue? It is quite an interesting piece. I think someone like you who collects your valuable history would be intrigued by it.
I would like to see this statue. Also, I would like to grab Potter and whisper in his ear, basically, will you address with this man the low question of price, both for these papers and for the entire farm?
Sure. Yeah, I say, well, let's walk to the statue, and on the way, can we discuss some business? And does that sound okay?
Of course. Yes.
Or I don't know.
You guys have not watched a statue come to life, have you? Like, none of you have seen this shit go sideways.
I may be more in character for me to say, no need to see a statue. Can we retire to your study where we can discuss price?
Well, and you certainly may, by the way. I believe in player agency. So he has put it out there. It is there if you would like to view it. But if you would like to force him into the study to discuss price, he will do that.
I want to look at that statue, but I need Robert with me. Like, that's the problem. I need somebody with me. I'm not going alone again.
We should all go together. I want to see it. I have never seen a statue turn real, and honestly, I would kind of like to.
It seems fun on paper.
I want to, and Wetherill, I have lived my entire life on paper, okay? I'm looking for some real human experiences before I get married and locked away in a stately home for the rest of my life. Let's hope it's one with like a good greenhouse or orangery.
I mean, it's true. While you're visiting a place, you might as well go see all the art because you don't know when you're going to come back. So yeah. I understand that.
I won't take this from you. I know, dear, my girl, I won't take this from you. You should, I guess, experience adventure while it's at hand.
But Potter, on the way, like, start up the conversation between you two.
Okay, so that's what we do.
Yeah.
Great. I think it's hilarious that Potter's doing this. You know, Walton's probably the better one to broker a deal. But
do you want us to?
I'll try to use intimidate. I've intimidated in psychology.
Oh, very good. I think that you can use either. Let me know.
Like, I see unless I see something else I could purchase. This place is just. This is not necessarily interesting to me to purchase. I do not want to purchase this farm.
I think Walton very, very smartly and practically is like, let's get out of here.
We should be leaving. Well, I know that I was just attempted to be murdered. Normally, it's more subtle than that, honestly.
But on the face of it right now, there still hasn't been anything overt. Well, to you there has, but to the other characters, maybe not anything overtly horrible.
I would also like to say the trouble with the American race is no tradition of chivalry. They are a people of shopkeepers. There is no strength of spirit to them. They are industrious. But like Wetherill wanting to leave now is exactly what's wrong with them as a people. This is why they're never really going to win a war.
So on our way, I'll try to intimidate, and it's not like a mean intimidation. It's like it's like a business intimidation. It's like, okay, so we'll be paying you however much we would want to pay for this. Like, you know, for the farm, you want to purchase the whole farm, Lady Hypatia?
I'm interested in purchasing the entire farm.
Very good. So make that intimidate roll.
Okay. I fail.
Okay. This is an interesting result. He agrees to the price. even though
Okay,
you failed.
well,
Can I maybe make a note here that normally they don't do that. Normally, then when you even fail to do that, normally they don't say just yes to the deal. Normally there's some kind of haggling, or they say like I couldn't possibly part with the land, like they make an emotional plea and they do kind of other things. So I feel like maybe
Robert's like, oh, okay then, all right. And goes back to Hypatia and said, well, we have a deal. It was very quick.
I am so glad that you have made a purchase of this great piece of history. And now I will show you the most intriguing item that has landed here on my little square of land. And he has now walked you all the way up to the windmill, and he pops open the door. The windmill continues to creak.
what can I see from outside of the windmill?
Looking in,
Yes.
kind of hay and kind of an earthen floor, some old wooden crates stacked up. But that's all you can see just peeking in right now. If you'd like to really crane your head in, you can. But Horta is currently walking in and asking you all to walk in with him.
There's a statue inside the windmill, I say.
Yes, it is moved here to keep it out of the elements.
Ladies first.
I'm gonna go in, and also, what kind of price are we talking about here? Because my high was 250 pounds here, and then another 150 pounds. That's $400,000 in today's money. That's a reasonable price to pay. Did he agree to that?
He did.
I think I probably started at 30% lower than that as a negotiation. So
I look to see
if we're immediately.
Can I look to see if we're being observed or followed?
Yeah, give me a spot hidden roll.
I fail.
You have a feeling that you are being observed, though, Walton. That's why you asked for the roll in the first place. You have a definite feeling that you're being observed.
I would like to, on this walk, do either of these guys speak Latin?
I speak most English.
No, I'm afraid that they do not.
I would like to just mutter the words Brotherhood of the Dragon in Latin and see if he clocks me at all.
That's such a good way to just see him go.
Horta doesn't appear to clock you at all. He lets you venture into the musty kind of confines of the windmill. It's very dusty in here. And what I would like is for everybody to make a spot hidden as they enter here, because there's just a little bit of light coming from outside. As Lady Hypatia mentioned, just the last bits of dusk are now kind of going down, and so there is a little bit of light in here. You got it. Okay.
I got an extreme success. Extreme.
Oh, then I only want to tell this to Robert, actually. The rest of you do feel like you're being watched or something like that. But Robert's the one that notices that the weird dust mites in here, dust particles that were kind of shook up by Horta throwing the door open and you all walking in. They're instead of just trickling down the way dust normally does, you notice that they're kind of moving in weird geometric patterns. And then the light sort of changes. A cloud moves.
Okay, I say, Lady Hypatia, wait outside, and I push her out the door.
Okay.
Very good. Yes, I understand. You must make sure that it is safe. It is a very old building, 12th century, in fact. And
where's the statue?
He walks over to this old canvas, and he pulls the canvas off of a large statue. The statue depicts a man being attacked by serpents. It is really a beautiful piece. If people want to roll history or sculpture or appraise on it, they can maybe learn more about it. But the man's face in the statue, he has a look of agony, and then there are these serpents attacking him and biting him.
Can I do the same?
I extreme succeeded on sculpture.
I'll look at. Should I an occult or appraise?
Yeah, I think occult would be great. You can do occult.
Can I roll again, as I did with the pissing baby? Roll psychology to try to figure out what was going through the mind of the sculptor when they made such a thing.
I make my occult roll.
Your occult roll.
Succeed.
Yeah, your occult roll lets you know that this is one of the representations of Leokun, a Trojan priest who is ripped apart by sea serpents sent by Athena.
Cool.
This is a very famous sculpture from the Vatican. The one you're looking at now is just Leokun, not his sons, but it has a similar vibe to it.
In some cultures, they called it having a bad case of the Mondays.
Yes.
Yes. Just some much needed levity.
And the story of Leokun is that he knew that there were people in the Trojan horse, and he tried to get the Trojans to not bring the horse in, and none of the Trojans believed him, and he kept getting punished by the gods who wanted to shut him up. And one of the things that they did was Athena sent these serpents to rip him and his sons apart. Psychology, Adam. How did you do?
I succeeded.
The mind of the sculptor. You know what you feel like. You feel like this sculpture is about. It is about oppression. The man is being kind of stomped by these serpents, stomped by the gods. He is insignificant, and he is being treated as an animal. He is being hunted and treated as an animal. And you know a little bit about this from your time in Crimea, the way that you were treated as a number and just sent as cannon fodder. And in fact, I want you to make a POW roll right now. Make your power roll right now.
What does power represent?
It represents your force of will, your personality. Okay. That's why it's tied to your sanity. And it is also the Call of Cthulhu stat that governs magic.
I rolled a 98 as a failure.
Very good. You lose 1 sanity from looking on this thing. And you are completely like I don't want to tell you what your character does, but I think you feel yourself tearing up. The look of abject pain and horror on the subject's face is really, really getting to you. Yeah. Lady Hypatia, how did you do on your sculpture roll?
I've seen this face many times.
I extreme succeeded.
Lady Hypatia, this sculpture is definitely of Roman origin. It is that old, and it is an exquisite example of this style of sculpture. This isn't a find that you would put in the Neptune Society. This would go, goes in the British Museum. This is like an enormous.
No, this goes in Montague House.
I like your style. And to be completely frank, you can have it.
Yeah. Robert's just like,
so are you okay, Mr. Potter?
Maybe needs more tea.
I give a slight stiff nod.
So this is included with the purchase we just made, right? Everything. It's all the contents of the house.
Oh, I do not know. I mean, the statue, it is a special item. Perhaps
no.
Extra could be added to account for its presence. It is of no use to me, a humble farmer who knows nothing of such things.
I'm but a girl. I don't discuss money and things like this. Weather Owl, could you maybe help us out?
As far as I'm concerned, this would be part of some kind of furnishing deal. Like it would bring down the level that you're paying for the rest of the property, but understand that this is more of a kicker for this is essentially things around the property. So
I'd like to pull him aside and say in English, I'm willing to go up like 200, 300 more pounds.
Honestly, you're going to spend that much with just removing it, to be honest, unless you're going to try to bring people here. Like you're really going to come down to what it comes down to is like you need to figure out a way to get this up and out, which is actually a lot of overhead.
I can do that. There's no minimum wage at this point, Mr. Weather Owl. Taking advantage of like the agricultural classes is something my people have been doing for literally centuries. You just handle the business part of things, and you let me handle the like European social interactions.
I really appreciate that.
Okay.
I say that I think that the statue, if you can kick in another 150, this statue could probably go. This statue's got to go.
All right,
with the property.
Like start out at 75. Like don't open up with 150.
You told me you wanted me to handle the money.
You drive such a hard bargain, but I am forced to accept.
This is not good. Like he should never just take the deal. Like it's never. I didn't even start to negotiate with him.
Let us retire to the farmhouse, and I will get the necessary papers together.
Robert snaps out of it and says, "We shan't be staying the night. Let's get the papers and leave immediately."
No,
thank you. Thank
course.
you. We're just ready. We're just so hungry and sleepy, and we just need to get back to a hotel. I have.
I'm sorry. No. Men in the British Empire have spent the past 200 years raping every country on this planet and bringing back the best stuff to London. And I am going to strike a blow for women by being a woman who brings back a beautiful piece of Roman art extracted from places I don't know through like arms and money.
We're gonna get it.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna come get it.
I take her aside.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Spirit, a magnificent spirit. You know, Mr. Weatherall, that comes from the blood. The spirit comes from hot blood.
Can we just go? Can we just get in the cart and can we
take
go?
Lady Hypatia aside. I say we've negotiated.
Hot blood means
We've negotiated a purchase. We've negotiated a purchase for the statue. We'll get the papers. We'll leave. We'll come back later with a cart or whatever, with a sledge.
We need to come back with boys. We need to come back with the team. I want some muskets. You need to have we need to roll in. We have to do shock and awe.
Come to the study. I have started a fire. You come in, we will sign the papers, and then you may go.
Okay.
You may go.
Contracts work here. This country has been around for like 25 years. Like, do they have law?
Of course, we have law. I have a very good solicitor who works on my behalf, and I have told him to arrive to help us with this sale. He should be here very soon.
Okay.
Come into the house. Sit by the fire. I will collect the necessary papers. Look, I don't want to force anything. You can see that this guy wants you to come, sit, and sign the papers in the house. So let me know what you do.
Okay, we go into the house, but Robert doesn't sit, just like stands by the entryway with the door open.
I'm standing outside of the house. I'm standing outside. I've already negotiated the price. You get the paper, and I'm getting the cart running. I'm going to get Blackie. I'm warming him up. We're going to I'm just going to have the car running.
Robert gets Blackie and ties him up loosely just outside the front door, ready to go.
Okay, very good. So you are in the house, and Horta is like fiddling about, and he's tromping about, and he's like, "I must go upstairs for a moment," and then he tromps upstairs, and the hot fire is kind of warming you, even if you are standing here in the study. I know that Walton is outside with the horse, and here's what I would like. Here's what I would like to happen. You hear Horta then kind of like walk downstairs and kind of move out into the yard for a moment. And Walton, from you, what I would love is a listen roll. And from my friends Lady Hypatia and Robert, who are in the study waiting for Horta, I would like for you to just make con rolls.
I fail my listen roll. Can I do a spot hidden?
You may. Yes, you may.
I fail it.
I just make my con roll.
Extreme success con roll.
What's that?
Extreme success con roll.
Very good. Okay, so you both make your con roll, so you're doing absolutely fine. But I will tell you that you find yourself kind of nodding off. It's been kind of a long journey, and it's very warm in here. And
I step outside.
I'm gonna eat a chocolate and offer a chocolate to Potter.
I take a chocolate and I step outside for a breath of fresh air.
Okay. All you need to know is that both Lady Hypatia and Mr. Potter, you've lost 3 magic points.
Okay.
Magic points, not sanity or health points. And Lady Hypatia, you've lost 2 magic points. You feel like the place is sort of like draining your energy. Finally, Horta arrives after so long, and he comes back into the house and he puts some papers down and he's like, "Okay, here you go. You must simply sign, and I shall sign as well." And he dips his quill in the ink and he puts his signature, Andre Horta, on the front.
Are these documents in English, Flemish, French, or Latin?
They're in French.
Okay. I'd like to peruse them.
It is a bill of sale. It is the deed to the farm, the windmill, and it mentions the statue.
Okay. All contents thereof.
Yes. As you are doing this, you notice that Horta's keyring is hanging from his belt. It is right there, right near your hand. You could possibly grab it if you wanted to, but you do not have to. Perhaps you want to sign and leave, and that is completely fine.
I'm gonna sign and leave.
Very good.
I'm gonna fucking grab some guy's keys off of him.
He's trying though. He's
My
trying.
father is a
He's
hero.
trying to kill us. Every minute he's trying to kill us.
That's good. You guys are handling this very practically. You're handling this very well. Horta goes, "I'm so sorry to see you leave so soon and at such a late hour. Are you sure you must go?"
Blackie's
Our
getting
horse is
cold.
fast. We will leave.
Blackie's getting very cold out here. He's shivering. We really got it. We really got to go.
drag
Think
Lady
about
Hypatia
Blackie.
out. I drag Lady Hypatia out. I throw her in the carriage. I mean, politely. Let's leave right now, and I hoist her up. I hop on Blackie. Open the gate.
And
Honestly, if you do get a lot of the landscaping done here, this honestly could be a very nice vacation spot.
yeah,
250 pounds in gold and a bill of credit for the remainder.
yeah, I mean, he's agreed to your terms, and he is now opening the gate for you. He's like, "Oh, farewell, goodbye. Thank you for gracing my home."
Yeah,
Good night."
thank you. Bye.
We'll be
Thank
back.
you.
We'll move out soon. We'll be back soon to get the statue.
If you need
You
any
don't
help
live here
moving
anymore.
out, if you need any
Leave.
help moving out, we can send people from town. I'm certain that there's got to be a moving company somewhere.
It is. It's now almost midnight. I think that time kind of got away from you there. Perhaps one of you has like a pocket watch or something, and you check it, and you see that it's almost the witching hour. And as your carriage moves out onto the dirt roads, there is an ominous thunderclap in the sky, and the moon is covered by black clouds, and rain starts pouring down in droves. It's just heavy rain, and the ground and the path is becoming muddier and muddier, and soon the carriage is sort of losing a little traction. And I think whoever is driving the carriage, which I assume is Walton, because our friend Mr. Potter said he was kind of being an outrider. I think that Walton is going to need to make a drive carriage roll to handle this like torrential rain while you're traveling.
Let's see if I got a natural 0.
Aha. Did you get a 0-0?
Yeah, 0-0.
Oh, that's a 100, my friend.
Yeah.
You just critical failed.
Ah, fuck.
Oh,
Now, I'll allow you to push.
0-0.
Yeah, let me do it. I just rather regular fail.
Actually, you know what? It's a critical fail. I don't know if I can allow you to push on a critical fail.
God.
0-0. A 0-0 critical success is a 0. It's the lowest you can get. 0 to 99.
No, it's one of those cruel rules.
No. So a critical success would be a 0 on your 10s die, and then like a 1, 2, 3 on your 1s die. You got a 0-0, which when you're rolling a percentile dice means 100, and I can't let you push on a
No
fail.
No, I shouldn't even say
Not
that.
only does the carriage was going to get bogged down in mud, but now this happens. The carriage loses a wheel. It goes spinning out of control, and it smashes onto its side and slides through the mud. Of course, our friend Potter is okay atop Blackie, but I need some dexterity rolls from Walton Weatherall and Lady Hypatia inside the cab of the carriage.
I make it.
I make it.
Very good. then I'm going to say that you do not take a lot of damage. You're a little bit like bruised up, but you don't have any damage that would take away your health points.
Okay.
We're
So,
Lord
Robert-
sullied.
You have been sullied though. Yes, your dresses are
papers.
sullied.
I only care about the paper.
The papers are okay. I assume you put them in a valise or something like that.
No, I was reading them the whole ride home.
Oh shit. Okay.
Put him in a valise.
Put him in the valise.
Just say that in a valise, guy.
Okay. I want to hear what Robert's doing. Robert, what are you doing?
So Robert hops down, and after opening the door to make sure that they're okay and seeing them surprisingly in better shape than he expected, goes and releases the horse who would be connected to the carriage.
Yeah.
To make sure that the horse is all right and still in rideable condition.
Done and done. And now you're like soaking wet. You guys are in pouring rain. Hypatia, you're trying to collect the papers. Actually, this is interesting. You said that you didn't put them in a valise. You were reading them. So what I want is what would be a good role for this? Give me a library use roll to see if you're able to collect all the papers and stop them from getting wrecked and drenched and ruined.
I rolled a 20. Yay, I made it.
Oh, you not only make it, you can check your library use. That was a really strange use of library use. I've never used it quite like that. So it definitely calls for a check. And the other thing I'll say is that you notice a page of the papers that has extremely strange writing on it. Lord Bartlett has on one page written words of a language you do not recognize, and I would like you to make an intelligence roll.
I make it.
As far as your extremely good education tells you, this is no known language.
Okay. I'm just gonna get it out of the rain right now is my primary concern.
And you did that with your library use roll.
Voynich manuscript.
Okay.
Now,
So
my question is,
has there Robert would like to, can I use navigate to see what the nearest shelter to us is that, because we came this way, that was not, the place we came from.
Yes, if you roll navigate, you will know the quickest place where you could seek shelter. Walton, did you have a question?
Succeed.
my question is, you succeeded. We can do that because my other question is that can we just stay inside of the carriage until it's morning?
That is going to be tough. I mean, the reason that it's on its side, and the reason that the papers were almost destroyed is because water is just pouring into it now.
Great.
Yeah.
It's kind of destroyed.
So I succeeded.
Yes. You know that you remember that one of the small farmhouses that you passed on your way here is just up ahead on the road.
Okay, so I load Lady Hypatia and Walton onto the horse. We had a carriage. We still have two horses.
Yes.
So put Walton on the horse, tie him to the back of Blackie, right? So it's a procession kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Lady Hypatia will ride behind me. Hold tight, milady, and we'll go to the farmhouse. Would be
very good.
Everyone.
I would like to make 2 points. The first one is that I am a gentlewoman in the 19th century being rained upon. Like, likelihood of me getting consumption and dying is very high right now. The second point is the indignity of riding like spray-legged as opposed to side saddle is both like shocking to me and very exciting as a feminist. And I also think it's possible that I am feeling things that I have not felt before, but with feelings that Potter raised in me when I was younger are now achieving a culmination that I had not imagined possible.
You've never noticed Potter's muscles. You've never noticed his muscles quite like this before. You're kind of holding on behind him. By the way, he's soaking wet right now.
Honestly,
Are you guys all flirting with each other?
No,
the sense of
Potter
wet
will admit that he
never experienced before.
Potter certainly feels a slight thrill when when her arms are around his midsection, but not one that he will even acknowledge to himself.
Can we get to the village? Can we get to the town? It's so wet. It's so wet. But I'll tell you, my dear Lady Hibisha, welcome to adventure.
Welcome to adventure. Okay, so
I want just a ride roll from my friend Potter, just to see how he handles like leading this expedition.
I do in fact fail a little bit. Can I push this or something?
I don't think this would be necessary to push it. I was just kind of seeing how it goes. And what I'm going to say, the way it goes is by the time you get to this farmhouse, you guys are completely exhausted. Like, okay. I'm going to make certain rolls hard if it feels like it's like a physical thing or you're trying to do something really kind of athletic. But you come to a little farmhouse, and this is a very little humble farmhouse. This is not even a farmhouse that's in a walled compound like Horta's was. It's just like it's dark inside. I mean, it makes sense. It's late at night.
I hop off the horse.
We have to knock on the door.
Walton, why don't you go?
We have to knock on the door and see if they let us stay in the barn. Maybe we could stay in the barn. We just need to stay till first light. Maybe we can give it up.
Walton, you knock on the door, and when you knock on the door opens immediately. It is not barred.
Can I do a spot hidden when I'm looking? Critical fucking fail. Doesn't really matter.
Critical fail. Well, so it's very dark in there. It's very dark in there.
Okay. Hello. Is anyone home?
No answer.
So Robert will hop off and help Lady Hypatia off the horse as well, and we'll step in and light a match.
I have matches.
They have one of those, kind of almost medieval cook pots in the middle of the, kind of kitchen area in this humble house. And normally people would keep their pottage kind of going all night, but the coals are long dead. You're looking at one of the few rooms this house has, and you can tell that back behind this sort of kitchen meeting kind of a room, there are maybe two bedrooms or, private rooms that you could go and look into. But out here, it looks like a family lives here. It looks like they are humble farmers. They have the general humble farmer accoutrement, pots hanging from the window sill and, different weird vegetables hanging from like garlands around the kitchen. But I will say that the vegetables as well are completely rotted through, and just their cores and like the rinds of them hang from where they should be.
Well, seems like no one's going to be bothering us here tonight, so
why don't we get a fire going? And then if they arrive back in the morning, we will leave a couple of coins behind. I mean, we'll be well on our way. As soon as I'm certain that this is a negotiation. People are used to people holding travelers, holding lodgers.
I mean, Robert's not going to go to sleep. Well, he'll just stay awake until it settles down. This is not a place to like actually go to sleep. But Lady Hypatia, please rest.
I'm already curled up in a corner. I open up the box of chocolates and I leave them for the boys to enjoy if they want some. And I eat 2 more chocolates and then go to sleep.
Oh, very good. And what about the gentlemen? Are they curling up here in the main room, or are they exploring the rest of the house, or are they?
I think we're all sleep in the same place.
Yo, yes, we're going to just take shifts sleeping. I imagine that we will try to go back and forth.
Robert will just stay up. He's the only one he trusts to keep watch.
I make a lot of noise.
Very good. Everybody, Robert, you're keeping watch, so you're awake. I would like for Lady Hypatia and Walton Wetherill to make Constitution rolls as they sleep.
I fail.
I critically succeed again.
That's really great. Walton, you lose 4 magic points. And The fire is flickering. I would like for Robert Potter. Normally, you would be stalwart. You would be, at your post, a good and a proper sentry. But I told you that you are
tired,
exhausted. So, would you please give me a Constitution roll? But it is going to be of hard difficulty.
Okay. Below a 32, I fail.
Okay. You nod off. And now make the regular Constitution roll so I can see how many of your MP are taken from you.
I make that roll.
Oh, very good. No NP are taken from you. But the next thing you know, you hear a trumpet going off. And you see your fellow cavalrymen laughing as they hop onto their white horses.
No.
And
no.
Yeah. And they're like, let's go, lads. Let's go. They've called the charge. And everybody's kind of getting onto their horses. Right. And you are like running through the stables, running through the camp going, no, you're all going to be killed. No. And the hussars are all getting up and they're galloping into the fray. All of your friends.
It's happening again.
Young Nicholas. Younger than you. He's hopped onto his horse.
Oh, we were friends.
And you watch them as they take the field here in Crimea, and you watch as they charge at the Battle of Sevastopol, and you watch these young men like all charging. And normally this is the part in your memory where you remember a cannon just taking off Nicholas's face and shoulder. But instead, what you see is that they are all charging into a huge, like, moving beast that's kind of not visible beyond like the dust that's been thrown up by their hooves. It's just a shadow. It's a shadow of something, and it's got like a long snout, and its wings sort of unfold, and the clouds of dust brought up by the horses, and all of the horses are charging directly to it, and the light brigade have raised their swords as they charge directly to it, and just as the dust is about to part and reveal the thing, you wake up, and you must roll your sanity for me.
That sounds like a sanity roll to me.
Yes.
I wake up, you're like, Nicholas! I fail my sanity roll.
Very good. Let's see what happens.
Very good.
Bad luck today. I got an 82 against 69.
I had one of those dreams where I was in my elementary school, but it like wasn't my elementary school. Where I was like, because obviously I was like too old to be there, but
you only lose 2 sanity, Robert.
Okay. Henry, I've started having that I didn't prepare for the test streams. I am in public, but I don't have my mask.
I know those dreams. I've literally had those where you go like, oh my God, and they're all looking at me.
I've actually just gone out of the house without my mask and like literally been in a line and gone like, oh
my God, I'm
home.
enemy number. I'm about to start getting. There's gonna be a cell phone like video viral of me like fucking tomorrow.
You guys know I don't believe in it because it's not American. Okay. So you awaken, and the bright dawn light shines through.
All right,
birds chirping outside.
Oh, it's nice. All right, let's get the hell up. All right.
Everybody make a spot hidden as you're leaving the little house.
I succeed.
I do not succeed.
Oh, poor Robert.
I do not.
Robert
succeed.
Potter. I mean, Lady Montague and Walton Weatherall are already stretching and walking out into the farmyard, about to get on their horses and get moving again.
Ooh, I smell fresh milk.
Robert, whose job is probably to make sure they didn't forget anything. Poor Robert, whose job is to kind of like check the corners.
The class-based society is it's the lowborn who always get the brunt of the sanity checks.
Yes, he happens to just by chance glance into one of the bedrooms, and in a large kind of like, down bed, he sees 2 people who are completely like desiccated, like mummies that have just like You guys have been in this house all night with these dead bodies who are just like they like died in bed somehow. And it's
Just like
like they were laying in bed and they apparently died here and something has kind of drained all the moisture and blood out of them. Make a sanity roll again, poor Robert.
Oh my God, he's in a bad line. He barely makes it.
He barely makes it. Okay,
Yeah.
great. He doesn't lose any more sanity. Something happened to these people.
Clancy Knox says carbon monoxide poisoning. I think he's right.
I believe Clancy's a she, and maybe she is right. Perhaps the villain of this Call of Cthulhu adventure is poor ventilation.
I mean, you leave your lantern on and you keep all the windows closed.
They didn't know anything about
happens?
ventilation back then.
Yeah.
There's a Shalom Aleichem story that ends like that.
Gentlemen, you escaped the farm. You no fools. You got out, and now you must simply arrange for the pickup of the items.
Does Potter tell us about these bodies?
No, he says nothing. He would never trouble Lady Hypatia with such horrors.
Robert, you look
He
more
keeps
grim
the
than
secret to
usual.
himself.
What
is that?
you look more grim than usual, Robert.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the long journey ahead of us.
So
That's as far as I'll go.
Walton is so satisfied by that answer.
we are entering the third act of today's adventure.
Okay, before we leave, I want to say I have 4 chocolates left. I get 2. You guys can have 1 each.
Good.
Honestly, these are very nice.
I'm glad that we took care of that. All right, now you must tell me: are you planning to return with men in a wagon to collect the things which you have rightfully purchased? You have yet to pay our friend Horta yet.
I'm sorry,
He did pay. He said he dropped off a bunch of pounds.
Yes,
Yeah, give him 2.
we left 250 pounds sterling and a letter of credit for 150 pounds sterling. I made that very clear before we left.
Yes, you did. I apologize. So, are you just going to send somebody for the items?
No, we're going to
I would
return.
suggest. Oh, we're going to return. I would suggest, Lady Hypatia. I would suggest we simply hire some good men and send them. No need to trouble ourselves any further in the dank and dirty countryside.
Robert, you're twitching.
That's foolish.
Robert, what's wrong with you? Honestly, if we just come back with a lot of people, it should be fine, right?
Like this farm, now my farm is where my father spent some of the tenderest moments of his life, which I hope to understand at some point in time. Like, he was distant from me and I don't really know who he is, and I like to imagine that I'm his daughter, but like, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna like hunt around in the daytime and investigate these lands that are now mine. To the extent that this fledgling kingdom of Belgium can protect my property rights.
Very good.
Do you think if we find another cannon, can I purchase it from you?
We'll see.
Because I kind of had a whole business plan, like, built around this thing.
Well, regardless, I think that you are now heading to Brussels, right? And you're going to go and hire your team. You own the farm now. I mean, you guys own the farm, so you can go back and you can loot that chest and anything else that you want. You head into Brussels. I think that you do. You make it. You go. I think that's what happens. That's what you've decided to do. You hire the team. And Robert, it sounds like he's trying to discourage you from going back, Lady Hypatia. But do you go in the bright, the bright morning, the bright day? Of course.
Of course I do. I do get another box of chocolates.
Okay, and you have another fine box of delicious chocolates, and it is a real question. Do you, the other two, Mr. Wetherell and Mr. Potter, do you want to join Lady Hypatia when she returns with a team of like 4 porters?
The goal is, as long as we have a team, then I'm down. I think the goal is to have people that are, and I want one person with a gun.
Good.
We need one armed It's somebody
Yes.
that we can.
I mean, I'll advise Lady Hypatia one more time. What if we send a team for the statue so you can take that back to Montague Manor, and then what if we give our friend Andre Horta a few weeks to leave and pack up and go and take our time, and then perhaps return once everything is cleared out and the property is fully ours and the deed has passed. We spent so long getting away. Wouldn't it be nice to not go immediately? But he seems a little frightened of going.
This is acceptable to me as the keeper. I can tell you that if that is a plan that you would like to follow, I will allow it.
Potter, if you decline to respect my orders again, I will be inclined to strike you. I think we're going to get one or two managers with guns who speak English and Flemish, and then like 4 or 6 porters. I mean, I'm down to pay for 6. I'm rich. You're rich. Like,
as long as I can get something commensurate out of the money I'm spending, I would love to. If I could find something that I can bring back, just to make all of this worthwhile for me.
Okay,
very good. And so you return several days later, and so if you're missing any HP, return it to your sheet. You have healed up. You are feeling good.
What about
the strange lethargy that affected you during your time at Haggidistop farm has left you. You feel energized again, and you leave at the crack of dawn so that you will be exploring the place, in the bright, shiny morning. And the 3 of you arrive with a team of like 6 guys, 2 of whom, Van Dornen and Von Beek, are just action guys. They just guys with like flintlocks who are pretty much professional mercenaries. Like these guys, they make you a little uncomfortable, actually, Potter, because they're looking for something to shoot. You know what I mean?
That's what I like about them.
Yes, Wetherell hired them. He made sure that they had itchy trigger fingers, and they have horrible, mangy, very red beards. These guys, you've got 4 porters, strapping young men who speak fluent French, so that Lady Hypatia doesn't have to hear the mellifluous sounds of the Dutch language. And so you arrive. And you come to where you can see the hill with the windmill atop it. But what you are looking at when you come over the rise confuses and confounds you, because the farmhouse that you saw is completely raised. There is no wall anymore. What's left of the well is a few stones. The farmhouse gone. The only thing that's left of it are burnt timbers and a hole leading into the ground. The windmill is an old ruin with no there's no it no longer operates. It's not turning. There's nothing there.
It was just here.
This place 40 years ago, it appears to have fallen. And everybody, upon seeing this, must make a sanity roll.
Oy, oy, oy. I fail.
I succeed.
If you fail, you
A
don't.
bad day for Robert's sanity.
Poor Robert, and he had low sanity to begin with.
I always remember when that one game.
He has PTSD.
There was that one game we played years ago where I started out with the SAN of 10. Do you remember that?
Yeah. You were a guy that had been left in
an island,
the jungles of South America or something, and you had gone mad.
And so I was just constantly ruining everything.
So you lose only 4 sanity from this, Robert, because I want to reiterate, it is completely impossible. You've only been gone 2 days, and it looks like this place was razed to the ground, say 40 years ago. But the shell of the windmill still stands.
Are my father's papers still intact, and is that knife I stole intact?
The knife is gone.
Okay.
Make another sanity roll, Lady Hypatia.
I did not make it.
Lady Hypatia, you lose 4 sanity. The knife is gone. There is, however, a blown-out cannon sitting in the mud by the hole in the ground that is where the house used to be. And now I would like everybody to make a listen roll.
Fail.
I make it.
Walton, from the empty shell, what's left of the windmill, you hear words being exchanged.
Boys with guns, please go forward.
Everybody starts running toward the windmill.
Let's not run. Let's not run.
No, the gun boys are running toward the windmill.
I was before we do it. Can I just go to the bathroom really fast before we see the horrible thing in the windmill?
We're at the very end, Adam. The horrible thing in the windmill is you pissing your pants.
I feel like there's a combat in there, and it's going to be long.
No, this is our cliffhanger.
I assumed you meant endgame, Adam.
Yeah.
My friend, I will let you go to the bathroom.
No, it's fine.
Go ahead.
It's 2 minutes.
Okay.
He's about to roll up. He's gonna drop this, whatever the hell this is gonna be.
Yes, it's okay. I think that Robert stays. Oh my God, everyone's gone.
Everyone's gone. I want to know.
You want to know? Okay. Well,
save it.
I think this will be. I'm gonna save it. I think that though. Yes, I think that you start hearing like guns go off. In the
Thank God we hired those guys. Honestly, they were worth every cent.
Lady Hypatia is like around one of the ruins with like her skirts lifted, nicturating, and Robert Potter's not involved in this because he's off using the bathroom.
This is all fucked up.
Yeah,
all of this is jacked up. I don't like
what
any
did I
of
miss?
this.
You didn't miss anything, my friend. You didn't miss anything.
Whew. I feel a lot, but can I add some sanity points back? I feel way better.
Oh no, you can't get the sanity points back. Only the HP was returned by your resting in.
No, I know because I was a joke about peeing.
How do you get magical points back?
Those kind of come back on their own eventually, actually. And in fact, let's say it was 2 days. You guys can each put 2 MP back in your total. So Van Dornen and Van Beek, the guys that you sent forward with the guns, you suddenly hear both of their flintlocks go off from the shell of the windmill. And is anybody going?
I pay these guys for, man.
I pull out my musket. I'm on the back of Blackie. I'm on the black of Becky. And I pull my musket out, and then I'm doing a really cool move where I'm like instructing Blackie to sort of like strafe around the windmill so I can like take a look in through the door, like get a whole view while I've like got my musket aimed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, certainly. And so, oh dear, have I frozen?
You have frozen, but I can hear you.
We were at Endgame. It was the final horror, and suddenly everything's going wrong. There's urination, and now I'm frozen. I'm gonna come back in.
I really didn't realize it was the final end game.
That's so funny. Sorry, I just got it. Ed Larson is stuck on the side of the road. His car just broke down as he was driving, so he's been calling me frantically. I was like, "What is he doing?" And she's like, "He is just stuck." And now he's like, "I'm just gonna walk on the highway."
Encourage
he really is
refuge in any farmhouses, but not to inspect the bedrooms.
Yes, exactly, and he knows that now. Let me. Sorry, I'm texting.
I love that we didn't inspect that bedroom.
That's so funny. That is just it's so funny because sometimes if you don't, that's what kills you. But it is very, very funny that it was like we all just peacefully slept like while all this horror shit was happening.
Well, there's a dead. Don't go in there. And as we're on the way, I'm like, what is in there? Oh, okay.
No!
Oh no! Oh boy! And only I know about it.
Hold on, let me. Oh, he's.
Hey
Oh my God! Oh, Jared, what happened to you?
Roll sanity.
I'm just letting you know that we're just waiting for Jared to refresh, and as soon as he comes back, he'll be back in.
Oh, you're pretty
Great.
quiet.
Brian.
Oh, hello. Check. Oh, Jared's back.
I just wanted to say you have a really cute office. Have you ever considered putting a couple more nautical paintings behind yourself?
Yes, I have actually.
You are a captain of a ship. Here,
I love my ship paintings.
I'm gonna be
One of them was on my grandparents' wall when I was a kid. That one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Some guy named Nelke. He painted a whole bunch of these, and I love them.
They're very
Anyway,
cool.
Looks like Jared. Thank you. How you doing, Guy? It's good to see you.
Doing all right.
We're doing great. We're about to see what's in this horrible windmill.
I know,
But
it's been an awesome story today.
First, everything has to go wrong. It has been an awesome story.
Yeah.
First, I feel like a cad going to pee.
I think you're okay.
Here's
It
Henry.
happens.
Where's Jared at now?
He was back, but he's gone again. I guess he probably needs to refresh his router.
This is so funny that this is like we're literally at the final reveal.
I know. It's perfect timing.
What it
No
is,
clue
yeah.
what's about to happen.
And
Yeah.
thanks for bearing with us, Chad. I really appreciate it.
There
Okay,
he is.
here's
There he
Jared.
is.
See you guys later. Have fun.
Hey, did you think I was
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Adam? You and your pee break caused that.
I'm really sorry about it.
It's
Okay.
okay. Look,
So
here's what I've decided.
how do you hold the back of a gun?
I
Like this?
decided some things while I was off peeing. That wasn't even a technical difficulty. I just had to go.
All right, so we won't pee now.
What I
Now,
have decided,
after I get so much shit, but I paved the way for everybody.
right? So what I've decided is this: would people like to go and see what's happening inside the ruined windmill? Would people like to see why those guns went off?
100%. I am pacing towards it with my deed. So angry. What's the farmer's name?
Horta.
Fuck that
Andre
dude.
Horta.
Fuck that dude.
I just
pacing
thought-
towards- I didn't get a gun or anything. I just have my papers.
Okay,
I
I was
view
going to
me-
be more. Robert was going to be more strategic, but once he sees Hypatia going for it, he hops off a Blackie, or he runs with Blackie to cut her off and hops off so he can go in before her because he's chivalrous.
All right. A 4-hour combat ensues. I'm kidding. You come around the corner, and what you see is Horta laying there at the base of the statue with a huge smile on his face. It looks like he's been shot twice by your two guards, and he's looking up at you going, and the statue looms over him, the face of the statue with a horrified look of agony on its face, and the serpents biting into its flesh. And the Horta looks directly at Lady Hypatia, and he goes, I did it. I completed my quest. And he dies.
I do
Now we
first
cut
aid on
to-
him.
You do first aid on him? Yeah, you can do first aid on him.
Okay.
Do it.
I succeed.
It's too late.
All right. Oh well, it happens. Yeah.
It's too late. He was shot twice by huge musket balls. But I will say your first aid has earned you one interaction with him. Would you like to ask him something or say something to him before he passes?
Yes. I say, Horta, what did you do? What happened to this place?
I brought him the blood.
Okay.
And now his blood is seeping into the earth. And
Remember-
now there is no more action because I am the keeper and I have decided. Because the next thing that happens is we cut to Montague House outside of London. And a delicious soiree is taking place. And in the midst of this wonderful party, perhaps it is a party being held to introduce Lady Montague to some promising suitors.
Mm-hmm.
During this delightful party, the sculpture is revealed in the great hall of Montague House. The cloth goes off of it, and the agonized face looks out across the crowd of Victorians who all gasp and literally clutch their pearls. And that is where we will end part 1 of our story.
Yeah.
Why did Van Dornen and Van Beck shoot him?
You'll find out. We can discuss all of that. You can talk to them. They came to London. They're hanging out.
Yeah, they're having a great time.
Yeah, they're now Robert Potter, he manages a team of bodyguards that includes 2 trigger happy Dutch guys.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Getting into business.
Yes.
Get a couple Escalades.
You guys, you handled the haunted house as practical players. You know, sometimes people are like, I want to go and get everything, have everything attack me. You guys were like, I'm not stupid. I don't want my character to die. That is a really valid way to play it. And you succeeded in not getting your head shot off by a cannon or possessed by whatever weird thing was floating around and sucking energy out of people. Hopefully you thought it was sufficiently creepy, even though you were never in true danger because you played it very close to the chest. Thank you all 3 for being here for part 1.
Thank you. I thought I wasn't. I was so excited to go explore alone, but then as soon as you almost kill me, then I'm just like, all right. Well,
this is a fair. Yeah, that's a completely fair strategy.
I love that our grand adventure is we bought art.
Yes,
that's what we wanted. We went antiquing.
Well, that was how the adventure was designed.
That was about as creepy as any time I've been antiquing. Like, actual antiques guys are that weird.
Well, you know that antiques do hold part of the spirit of everyone that once owned them.
Yes.
You guys believe that, right?
I do. You are being you. But yeah, yes. I do believe that sometimes. I believe that.
I watch a lot of Antiques Roadshow, and all that shit is cursed.
They should do Cursed Antiques Roadshow.
Pitch it to Quibi.
Actually, maybe
that's it right there. That's your Quibi in, dude.
I actually think that's the title of part 3 when you guys come back. Cursed Antiques Roadshow. Because you brought the statue back to London. Gentlemen, I'm going to say goodbye for right now. I want to thank you again, Adam Conover, Henry Zebrowski, Guy Branum, 3 of the greatest players a keeper could want. Follow them on all socials and buy things that they produce for mass consumption.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to hang out for just a little bit to talk. If anybody has any questions or comments in the chat, I'm here to hear them. Please keep up with our schedule and find out about all the cool things we're doing by following us on social media. We have an Instagram and a Twitter, which is _streamofblood_. We're on Reddit at r/streamofblood. And we have a Facebook group. We would love for you to join our Facebook group to let us know how many SOBs there are out there. And I post in that Facebook group almost every day. So we can talk about Cthulhu stories or science fiction, fantasy, horror, of course, is a huge interest of mine. Or things you'd like to see as adventures for Vampire or the Neptune Society. I actually had a poster suggest a really cool idea for our next Neptune Society adventure, and I'm not promising it, but I think I might take it. Our art credits, Will Portoff did our incredible little title card you see when it comes up. Oh my God. Can I speak today? Will Pottorff. You can see more of his art at willpottorff.com, Pottorff. And he also has an Instagram. And then Ross Bryant did that phenomenal drawing of our friend Andre Horta, who I'm sorry has passed, but I think he played his role in the drama. The original music for the Neptune Society comes to us from a viewer named Warbird, and you can see more of Warbird's music at soundcloud.com/Warbird. Are there any questions or comments? It appears. Yes, here we go. Do you ever try to have every conceivable scenario played out since you never know quite what a player will do? You know what? You just can't in the end. I used to design adventures for my home games where for one session of play, I would write like 3 adventures. Well, if they go over here, it'll be this whole adventure. If they go over here, it'll be this whole adventure. If they go over here, it'll be this. That's really hard to do. And it takes up a lot of your time. So instead, I kind of create a location or a situation. And there's a lot of improvising involved, as you could see from today. I didn't know quite what they would do. Would they try to fight this guy? Would they go digging through everything, try to get into his chest, or would they quite wisely run? They ran. They played it like players a little bit more than you like a character in a horror movie. But characters in horror movies are stupid, aren't they? They kind of stay and hang out. So either way was fine with me, and I'm kind of interested in how it went. I kind of think it's exciting, and it set us up for some cool stuff next time. Do practical players ever ruin the module for you, or does it just force you to improvise? I think I answered it. They just make you improvise, right? And I think that, I think there was a time when I would run games and certain types of play would annoy me, and it was unfair of me to feel that way. I used to if someone was very strategic and practical, because I'm a little bit more of, I think I like it to feel like a movie or like a novel, right? But we don't realize there are certain rules that characters in those things follow that real people don't follow. And sometimes when you're playing with players, they're very practical and they play it strategically. And that used to bother me because they would destroy all my carefully laid plans. And then later I kind of came to the fact that, yeah, it's kind of fun when players do that. And it's totally a valid way to play. And it does force me to improvise, which I like, because I like not knowing what's going to happen. And I didn't know that Horda was going to die like that till the very end. Will we have an all-ladies cast someday? Not only will we have an all-ladies cast, we will have an all-ladies series. I'm going to go ahead and announce this now. We were going to announce it at Gen Con, but that's this week. We are going to do a Call of Cthulhu's 1920s game starring 3 female comedians, including my wife, as explorers of the paranormal in 1920s Lovecraft country, Arkham, Boston, Dunwich, and environs. And they have named this. I want you to know that they have come up with the title, not me, so I don't get any angry comments. They have decided to entitle the show Coven of Bitches. So I would love for everybody to tune into Coven of Bitches, and we will start having those episodes happen in August, I think. Guys, I really want to include every type of player I can, and we are working hard on that. So thanks for asking. I do think it's important, and I want people who've never played before to play. I want people who you don't normally see play to play. I want everybody on this show. Hey, I'm totally new to this stuff. Is this like alt D&D? Hopefully that's not an offensive question. Alt D&D. Yeah, maybe it is. You know what? I don't totally understand the question, so I'll say yes, that's correct. It is. It's alt D&D. D&D is, of course, like the most popular role-playing game. So Call of Cthulhu, it's a different kind of experience because it's a lot harder than D&D. The players don't have any powers. They can die by getting shot once or clawed by one monster. So it's kind of like playing on hard mode. Do you have any tips for pushing the horror angle harder? The only thing I'll say is that it's very hard to scare people in a role-playing game. It's very hard to scare people, but when it happens, it's so great and so fun. And there's a guy named, the only advice I have is there's a guy named Graham Walmsley who wrote a book called Play Unsafe. And it kind of talks about how to improvise in a role-playing game. And he says just do the next logical thing. You should really read his book, Play Unsafe, if you can. I don't think it's very expensive in PDF form. But, Play Unsafe just says do the next logical thing. And instead of like trying to be really clever or creative or go now here's my scary part and I'm going to get you. Like today I could have like really tried to keep them in the house, like really tried. And you could tell I did a little bit. But it would have felt like I was cheating or railroading them. So I think scaring people is the same thing. Pushing the horror is the same thing. Come up with a horrible scenario and just keep doing the next logical thing. And it's a little bit up to the players whether they get scared or not. But it will happen. It will happen if you've come up with some nasty, weird, spooky shit. It will happen. All right. That might be the end of the questions. Yes. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry again about our little bit of technical snafu there, but I love the way we handle it now. And, hopefully we won't have as many of those in the future. You guys are the best viewers, the best fans. I love your questions. We'll see you very soon. please tune in Wednesday for Vampire the Masquerade, Vampires of Pittsburgh. It's going to be the big session before our Gen Con game. The whole world, the whole storyline is going to change big time. Oh, any chance of an audio podcast version of the show for the people with kids and active lives? Yes, that's happening. The Stream of Blood podcast is coming soon. We've already signed the papers, made the deal, and it's coming out. At first, it will just be our Vampires of Pittsburgh game. But if people really want the Neptune Society or Covenant of Bitches as well, we will make those available as well, and you'll be able to listen in your car. So stay tuned. Follow the Facebook and the socials for more info on that, because I think we'll have it up pretty soon. We'll start having episodes up pretty soon of that podcast. Okay, until next time, everybody. Shub Nagurath, Cthulhu, Fatagan. Bye-bye.